Thank you for joining us here on Mortal to Mortal. Today I have with me Kimmy Davis of Critter Renown. Thank you for joining me today, Kimmy.
No, thank you for having me. This is really great.
Neat. My pleasure. So, for those that don't know who you are, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. So I'm definitely most active on Twitter, where I'm at Miss Kimmy D 85. Um, and yeah, I'm just a really kind of hardcore critter, I guess. I also run the Critters RPG Twitter account,
Mm,
um, and I'm definitely all over critterdom with that.
neat.
But yeah, so that's me.
Well, that's great. um, you're very well known among Team Human and critters alike. How did you become a part of the critter family initially? And can you tell us a little bit about your journey from there with the group?
Yeah, it's it really was a fluke that it even happened.
Oh,
I had never, I mean, I've always been kind of nerdy. I'd never played D&D, was never particularly into RPGs,
mm-hmm.
and I was following Ashley Johnson on Twitter. Just,
Oh,
I was a fan of her. And I had seen her interacting with Liam O'Brien. I had no idea who that was,
yeah.
but I kept seeing his tweets, and I was like, "Wow, this guy's really funny." And I started following him,
Nice.
and then I realized, oh, that he's a voice actor, and okay. And through his tweets, I learned about this thing, Critical Role, that they were on. That was a live streamed show, which sounded so weird to me.
Right.
And just one Thursday, I was totally caught up on Hulu, was totally caught up on Netflix. I had
Yep.
nothing to watch. And I remembered, oh, hey, there's that weird show. And then I remembered that there was a Twitch app on my Xbox. Because again, I was totally
Oh,
unfamiliar with streaming at the time. And I
gotcha.
was like, oh, I can watch it on the Xbox
Mhm.
with this Twitch app.
Nice.
And so I tuned in. It was episode 8. It was my first episode, and
Oh
I
wow.
just fell in love. I fell in love with the show. I fell in
Mm,
love with Dungeons and Dragons.
beautiful.
Um, and yeah, that's just where it all started.
That's amazing. What a narrow miss. Yeah.
Yeah, and because Ashley, she tweets about Critical Role quite a bit, but definitely not as much as Liam did then or does now. So had
Yep.
I not started following him, I probably still would
Oh,
have never come across it.
right. Right.
So it
Wow.
just worked
That's really interesting. Yeah.
out.
And to the great fortune of many that you ended up following.
Thank you.
So what would you say brought about creating, which I think was a brilliant idea, the Twitter feed specifically for the community?
So there was uh, way back when I first sort of joined the critter community.
Hmm.
There were three of us that were really pretty close. Devin, who's not as active in the community anymore,
Hmm.
but then Matt Abernathy,
Yeah.
who everyone's pretty familiar with.
Hmm.
So the three of us palled up pretty quick online.
Okay.
We were the little three musketeers, I guess. D
Nice.
and dweebs is actually what I think what we called ourselves back
That's
then.
fantastic.
Um, and I'm not even sure how it came up. I think it was more Matt and I kind of started the Twitter, and then Devin helped out a little bit in the beginning.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that we both realized our Twitter feeds were being overrun because all we were talking about was Critical Role.
Right.
And it was great just to interact with people. And I'm honestly not sure what the catalyst was. We certainly never, ever imagined it would be as big as it is now.
Wow.
Um,
Neat.
and then Matt Abernathy, he still is a big part of it. He's
Hmm.
definitely backed off from where it was when we first began.
Ah, I see.
So now it's mostly me running it, and then Matt
Okay.
hops in when he has time.
Neat.
But yeah, yeah, it definitely exploded in a way that neither one of us was expecting.
Mm.
Thankfully, it was a slow progression because if I had
Okay.
gone from like one day to the next of having 11,000 followers,
Right.
I probably would have freaked out.
Oh, yeah. What's
But it was
happening?
a nice, steady, slow incline, and so we were able to kind of acclimate ourselves
Good.
and kind of get the hang of running such a big account.
Neat, neat. That's great. It is a real fun place, I think, for a lot of us in the community to get together and share. And you're right, it feeds too, especially on Thursday. They just to a
Yeah,
brick wall. Yeah.
exactly.
Mm. Now you've taken to Twitch yourself. I know that you have cooking streams, which are really popular. Um, which I think is a pretty fun idea, especially the recipes that you come up with and all. Can you tell us a little like where you got the idea for that and how it's grown?
Um, you know, I think my first stream ever was a cooking stream because I do
Oh.
some gaming now too.
Hmm.
Um, and it was November, I guess, of 2015. So it
Okay.
was right around Thanksgiving. And I
Ah.
remember at the time thinking, I was so clever and I'm so smart. I'm going to do a cooking stream. And like, no one's thought of this before. I had no idea what a huge
Ah.
kind of market there was on Twitch for them, and
Gotcha.
that I was not at all as original as I was thinking. But I think I just became, because of Critical Role and because of Critters, I became really interested in streaming.
Mm.
Um, and I wasn't sure that while I enjoy playing games, I wasn't sure that I wanted to do gaming streams. And then I
Sure.
realized, well, I really enjoy cooking.
Okay.
Um, and my kitchen, the way it's laid out, I realized, well, I could probably do it pretty easily in here too. So the
Perfect.
first, yeah, so the first couple were really just kind of on a whim, and
Mm.
I had a lot of fun with them. And so I was just like, I think I'm going to keep doing this.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very neat. Yeah, they're very entertaining. So viewers, if you haven't seen them, go. We'll link her Twitch in the about section below here. Follow and check them out. Let's see. Do you have any future stream ideas or projects in the works?
Yeah, so I had taken I was streaming pretty regularly for a while, and then I've kind of backed off, and I guess now I'm kind of trying to get back into it. So I'm not sure
Neat.
how frequently I'm going to be streaming, but
Hmm.
I just recently purchased specifically to stream Final Fantasy 15,
Oh,
which I just started streaming very recently,
neat.
and I'm really bad at it, and it's a lot of fun to watch me nearly die quite a bit.
Excellent. Yeah.
Uh, and then my next cooking stream, or at least one I have in the works, is going to be a Critical Role themed cooking stream,
Oh,
which I have done once before. And the one I did before was Scanlan's Breakfast Chicken,
nice.
which is a lot of fun. And so this one is going to be dragon eggs. And
Oh.
obviously I don't have a fresh supply of dragon eggs, darn it. My supplier went under, it's a whole deal. So I'm gonna have to come up with something else
Okay.
um, to stand in for that.
Mhm.
So I haven't quite come up with the recipe yet, but
Ah,
that's definitely gonna be coming soon.
very interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Neat. Um, well, we have a little segment here where we like to take some questions from your fans and such, and list them off for you to answer on the spot. So I guess we'll start with at XO Girl Wonder, um, who asks if you could be a D&D race and class combo in real life, what would you be?
Well, I'm assuming that this is a world where it wouldn't be weird to be a tiefling.
Neat, right?
Well, or at least as accepted as they are in D&D.
Hmm.
It's not just like, hey, you're here on Earth.
Ah,
Oh, can I
yeah.
be a chick with horns? No.
Right.
So with that, prefacing with that, I
Mm.
would love to be a tiefling wizard,
Neat.
which is actually the first D&D character I ever played,
Oh.
and I loved everything about it. I really loved the tiefling race.
Hmm.
I fell in love with the class of wizard. I like that I
Nice.
can learn like almost any spell just from reading books and studying.
Right.
As much as I dislike school in real life, I love the idea of that in D&D.
Yeah.
And I feel like in real life, if it was magic, if I was learning magic, I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure I wouldn't mind studying.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
So I would definitely love to be a tiefling wizard.
Beautiful. Oh, I love tieflings too. They're my favorite race.
Yeah, they're great.
Let's see. They also ask, okay, this is a profound question. What's your definition of happiness?
Yeah, that was that was so the person asking is Anne,
Mm.
who was actually I played with in my first ever D&D campaign. So she knows
Wow.
that tiefling wizard I'm talking about. But
Ah, neat.
Anne was trying to get me to be insightful here, and I am not nearly as insightful as I think that she was hoping. Um, I oh God, we're gonna get serious for a second.
Okay.
I feel like myself, along with a lot of critters,
Hmm.
unfortunately,
Mm.
suffer from mental illness, depression,
Hmm.
and anxiety, specifically for me. So that's really well controlled at this point in my life, which I am so thankful for.
Excellent.
But I feel like for myself and for probably a lot of us in the community
Hmm.
and that have mental health issues,
Hmm.
that happiness kind of means something different to us.
Mm.
And I definitely am happy now. And more than anything, to me, it kind of means having hope and,
Okay.
just something that pushes you forward in the day. And for me,
Hmm.
a huge part of my life, especially now,
Hmm.
um, is the critter community. That's something that gives me happiness. That
Nate.
that kind of propels me to just even get up some days when I'm not
Sure.
feeling great.
Hmm.
So I have no set definition of happiness, but something kind of along those lines, I
That's great. That's
guess.
wonderful. Yeah. And the critter community, like you say, is definitely great for that. The support, the embracing of all
Yeah,
that is really great.
exactly.
Let's see. Well, Anne then has one final question. Let's see. Tell us about your dreams, Kimmy. What do you want to be? What do you, let's see, and where do you want to be?
uh, so I'm going back to school right now.
Oh,
The new semester just started, and yay,
excellent.
I'm so excited.
Congrats. That's wonderful.
Well, for most of my adult life, I haven't really known what I wanted to do, and I
Okay.
haven't had like a real strong passion
Hmm.
to work towards or anything like that. But
Sure.
because of Critical Role and because of Critters, I started going out and going to cons,
Oh,
and I
right.
realized I really love this.
Hmm.
I love that whole atmosphere. Um, I just like everything about it. So I've
Mm.
decided something I think would make me really happy would be to work for a video game company or for
Sure.
like a nerd aligned company like Loot Crate or
Oh,
like
right.
Nerdist or Geek and Sundry or
Mm.
um, a tabletop company, something like that. So I'm going back to school for marketing,
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
and yeah, I'm just gonna see what I can do from there. So
Very
that's
excellent.
definitely yeah. I'm really excited to sort of have a. It's still kind of a vague dream, but I
Hmm.
definitely feel like it's more formed than any other sort of dreams I've had in the past. So
Sure.
it's really nice to have that.
Right. A path to set out on, and
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Hmm. Neat. Um, all right, let's see. Ooh, we've got quite a few questions. All right, at Metadoxy asks, "What's your least favorite D&D monster?" Which I think is your DM or
He is
maybe.
my
Okay.
DM.
So
Metadoxy is
be
Norm.
careful. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and to be perfectly honest,
Mm,
I don't have one.
mm,
So I've been in the community now, and I've been a critter for a while, and I've
mm.
played in a few D&D campaigns and one shots, but I'm honestly not terribly familiar. I don't
Yeah,
own um,
the monster
the Dungeon
manual.
Master's Guide. I don't
Uh,
own a Monsters Manual,
mhm.
so all I know is what I've seen mostly on Critical Role.
Yeah.
Um, and other things I've like heard of bits and pieces.
Hmm.
Beholders are the scariest damn thing I think I could probably imagine.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I don't. There's nothing in particular. I mean, mimics suck. I hate mimics.
Oh yeah,
We've thrown a
yeah,
mimic at us before, but everyone hates mimics, I feel like.
yeah.
Actually, mimics might be, from anything I've ever encountered or even seen,
Hmm.
mimics might be my least favorite. And Norm,
Oh,
if you throw another one at us soon, I'm going to be an unhappy little druid warlock.
okay. That's great.
So.
Mimics bring you from like the high of finding treasure or whatever to the low of, oh, I wasn't prepared for this. Yeah.
Exactly. We no, we're going here because we just finished killing the bad guys. We thought we were
Right.
done,
Yeah.
and now there's one more.
Curses.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. He also asks, what is your favorite novel and your favorite movie?
And this is such a difficult question.
Hmm.
Well, movie I think is kind of easy. My movie I've loved for my entire life is The Princess Bride,
Oh, yep.
and it's probably my favorite movie.
Hmm.
Um,
That was the correct
there,
answer. Yeah.
there are other ones that come close. I mean, like I love The Fifth Element, but
Oh, yeah.
it's actually probably kind of a close second. But I don't think you could ever
Oh.
unsee Princess Bride.
Hmm.
Um, but novel was
Hmm.
really hard for me to. I read quite a bit, and
Okay.
it's hard for me to. So I was actually scrolling through my Goodreads, my
Oh.
read books to try to sort of see if I could just pick like a front runner, and I couldn't. Um, but there were a couple of things that I've read within the last year
Okay.
that I absolutely loved.
Oh.
And then, so one of them, I finally got around to reading the Dark Tower series by
Oh.
Stephen King,
Excellent.
which I like. I enjoyed way more than I ever would have imagined I would have. And I'm so sad I waited so long to read them. They were just amazing.
Nice.
So those are probably pretty close to top.
Okay.
And then aside from that, Neil Gaiman is probably one of my favorite authors, and I
Okay.
consume anything that that man puts out,
That's
graphic novel or short stories or anything.
fantastic.
And The Ocean at the End of the Lane is a book he put out a year, maybe 2 years ago,
Okay.
and I that very quickly became my favorite
Oh, all
book of
right.
his. So that's definitely up there.
Neat.
So a series of what, seven, 8 books, and
Mhm.
then just one book on the side. So those are
Excellent.
probably my top ones, at least for right
Oh, that's great. This may spark like a Kimmy's reading corner where you can put out your favorite books for everyone to
now.
like, let's check them out. Neat. Let's see. He has one more question. What do you feel makes for a great D&D session? Um, Answered separately as a player, as a viewer, and as a fan community coordinator. Whew.
Which is a title that scares me a little.
Mm.
And I don't know that I have an answer as a fan community coordinator because I've never coordinated D&D sessions really like that.
Gotcha.
I've helped with critter meetups, but never necessarily like a D&D sessions or even a one shot. I've never
Oh,
thrown those together,
okay.
so I don't have a good answer for that.
Hmm.
And but my answer for the other two is
Hmm.
actually the same.
Oh, neat.
Um, Maps are so important.
Hmm.
I'm a person who um, I guess I don't have a great imagination, and it's probably why I'm not an artist and not a very creative person, which makes me really sad. But I mean, if the map doesn't have to be beautiful or fanciful,
Hmm.
it can literally be just a white mat with a box here. That's the enemy, and a box here. But I have to see that. I
Yeah.
can't. If I'm playing in a game and something's happening,
Hmm.
I can keep track of things better. But if I'm just
Hmm.
watching the game,
Right.
I have to have that in front of me. I can't keep track of anything.
Yeah.
So maps are terribly important to me.
Excellent. That's a very good point. Yeah. Helps with the immersion too, to kind of see the
It
field,
does.
see and.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Neat. Let's see, just a few more questions. At Starstuff84 asks, as Kimmy and Saria, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the one beast you most want to become using wild shape?
So that's Kat. She plays in my game with where norms are DM,
Oh, okay.
and so in my current campaign, I'm a druid who just took a level in warlock. Actually, I just made a
Ooh.
pact with an archfey, which
Ooh.
I'm so excited about. I can't stand it.
That is
I
excellent.
haven't had a chance to do anything warlocky yet, but I'm just
Oh,
itching.
excellent.
Uh,
Yeah.
but my default so far, I chose Circle of the Moon because I wanted to be able to shape into the bigger guys
Oh,
from the
right.
get-go. So
Hmm.
I've already been terribly spoiled and have spent a lot of the game as a brown bear because they're giant and awesome.
Excellent.
But I'm really looking forward to when I can finally start getting some flying creatures, which
Right.
I think I don't get until I'm level 6 in Druid.
Okay.
So a giant eagle would be amazing. Giant vulture are
Mm.
tougher than the giant eagles,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like it'll be better in combat. But I think it will be terribly majestic to be a giant eagle.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
Excellent. um, let's see. At Hermley asks, and I hope I said that right, Hermley. What's the best meal you've ever had?
So that's another like really tough question.
Mm.
I don't consider myself a foodie,
Okay.
um, only because like I don't bother to go to all the restaurants that are
Uh,
renowned, and
mm-hmm.
I don't read up on about which I don't know which cuts of steak are. I mean, I know filet mignon's the great one, but then
Neat.
like I don't know. You know,
Mm.
I love food, but I'm not one of those foodie people.
Right.
But
Right.
so that being said, I I eat a lot of food and I really like it, and it's
Mm.
really hard to to pick something that stands out. But
Sure.
when I was in New York City. I went for New York Comic Con in October,
Oh, okay.
just this past October,
Neat.
and I was out there. It was actually for my birthday, and so one of the nights where I didn't have plans with friends, I
Mhm.
just took myself out to a nice fancy schmancy restaurant,
Nice.
and it was appetizer, like seared scallops, and
Ooh.
then this gorgeous pork loin dish came after that, and
Mm.
I think I had creme brulee for dessert because
Mm-hmm.
I love creme brulee, and
Mm.
that was definitely the best meal that I've had in a while.
That's
So
excellent.
that ranked up there for sure.
Beautiful. It's nice to take some time too to yourself and just have like a special treat like that. That's cool.
Definitely. Yeah, it cost a fortune, but it was so good. So
And
worth
worth it.
it.
Yeah. Let's see. And our last question is from Mech at Mech underscore 45, and he asks, fellow Slytherin, uh, what has been your greatest challenge working with the Geek and Sundry community and streaming in general?
So I don't know that I've ever had any real challenges with the Geek and Sundry or Critter or Team Human communities.
Hmm.
Um, they're just such great communities of people.
They are. Yeah.
There doesn't cause the only challenge I would say is um, the desire to meet all of them all the time
Sure.
and the inability to do so.
Hmm.
So that especially the ones on different continents, and
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, so that's the only downside to it that I can think of. As far as streaming goes, uh, so a definite theme on my streams is that Kimmy drinks.
Hmm.
uh,
Yep.
and that's it's not that I'm an alcoholic in real life, but on stream that's sort of oh hi new person, I'm gonna take a shot now because you came here,
Yeah. The
and
fun
I
element.
died,
Mm.
so yeah, it's sort of they all have a little bit of a drinking element to them, yeah,
Neat.
and that was born out of my nervousness.
Oh, okay.
That's what started that. It was
Huh.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a beer or wine on hand
Hmm.
because I think I'm gonna need a little bit of that liquid courage.
Hmm.
And then it just so that I was drinking a little more than maybe I would have because I was nervous. And
Sure.
then it just sort of like the chat was like, oh, and I'm not saying they were encouraging me to do
Right.
anything dangerous, but they
Yeah.
were responding pretty well to it. And I realized,
Yeah.
oh, this could sort of be my thing.
Yeah.
It's already kind of funny that I'm bad at video games, and then you throw in that I'm drinking and doing shots, and I'm
Right.
even worse, and it's kind of funny to watch me die nonstop. Um, that was my sort of greatest hurdle was just my nervousness, but
Sure.
I was able to combat that quite effectively
Excellent. Yeah.
through libations.
Neat. Excellent. And like you say, it adds a fun, an interactive, element,
Yeah,
to the
my
stream.
chat on their own, unprompted,
Hmm.
created drinking game rules for the
Really?
chat to participate in. Kimmy does this, they take a shot. There are a few rules that I laid out for myself.
Sure.
Um, and then, but yeah, they sort of did it on their own. So it was like, okay, so this is sort of a fun thing to have.
Excellent. Well, that was really fun segment actually. Thanks for all the fans that wrote into Kimmy there and
Well,
asked the
thanks for the
questions.
questions, guys.
Well, that's all the time we have today on Mortal to Mortal. Kimmy, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Do you have any thoughts or any sentiments you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Um, if you're watching this, you're Team Human or Critter, and you guys are all amazing. It's been such a privilege to be part of this community.
Mm,
It's the way that everyone uplifts each other and encourages each other.
mm,
It's I've never in my life had this sort of community and family. We all of us always say that we're
mm,
Ohana, and it's so true.
mhm.
Um, it's just incredible to be part of something like this. So thanks for letting me be a
Awesome.
member of your cool kids club.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again so much, Kimmy. And thank you all for watching. And we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hi.